Welcome, Chris. How
Thank
are
you
you?
so much. I'm doing great. What a way to start the year.
I know. I
Both
haven't
are
done one of
true
these.
with
Here,
DeBranco.
here we go, baby. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm
I've
a little
never done one.
rusty.
This is my first live of any kind ever.
Wow. How does it
Never
feel
been
so
on
far?
Instagram Live. It feels great. I mean, it is. I can't tell what is like happening the way that it is formatted because there's like a quite like a highlighted part of me in the middle and then a darker part of me, which I think must be like phone versus computer.
Bingo.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Are you
Hello,
on your
gentlemen.
computer?
I'm on my computer. Yeah.
Okay, me too. This is it didn't used to even be possible on the computer. They just
Really?
made it
Oh.
yeah,
Well, we
this is
could
brand new.
get on our phones if that would make people more comfortable.
I think people seem I mean, the chat is absolutely fucking fired up here.
I can't believe how many people are already here. It's really impressive to me.
Yeah, well, that's because
The
we
bad
have a
heads.
lot of bad heads. Yeah, the people. I mean, people have been waiting years for this
I've
duo,
been
me and
waiting
you,
years for this. Since I met you, I've been waiting for this to happen.
and here we go, and here we are. Um, how's it going, dude? Happy New Year! Holy
Happy New
shit!
Year. Happy New Year 2026. I'm still writing 2025 on all my checks.
How's it? What's how's it going? How's? We have a lot to talk about. For most importantly, the book "Humor Me" by Chris Duffy. There it is.
Wow.
Wow.
This one?
And that's and that's something that you can purchase that right now.
Yeah, it won't come to you right now, but you can pre-order it right now and it will
And
arrive
that's
later
what
next week.
we wanna boost pre-orders. That's
Yeah,
what
this
this
is
is.
mostly like a QVC kind of marketing,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
live selling situation. Um,
Exactly.
well, I'll tell you something that I'm sure you will relate to, which is that like
Oh yeah.
you put something out there and you work
Yep.
on it for a long time, and then I just have like my default is thinking like this is going to be a disaster and
Yeah.
humiliating and ruin my career. And so this
Yeah.
morning I got a phone call from my friend. Actually, you were talking to me about her when we were talking about doing this. Maureen, who's 104 years old and is a
Oh yeah.
literal world champion swimmer, Mighty Mo.
Yeah, Mighty Mo.
Probably the funniest person that second funniest person I've ever met in
Second.
my life.
Yeah.
Funniest is a 10-year-old. But Mo is hilarious and great and like so impressive in so many ways. But she called me this morning and was like, congratulations. And I thought she was saying like, you made it to 2026. And I was like, we did it, Mo, we're here. And she was like, what are you talking about? No, congratulations. Your book was reviewed in the LA Times. And then I was like, oh no. They said like, don't read it. And instead she was like, no, it was great. It was the first nonfiction review of the year. And they said like, very funny. You should read it, which is,
Wow.
I know. I can't believe I didn't even know that was going to happen. So I'm feeling
Dude,
like,
that's a really big deal.
yeah, but I think that it is, in a way you can relate to. I was kind of like she said that, and then I immediately went to be like, but they probably had some sort of weird caveat, you know? They were like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
looks great.
Yeah.
The guy is horrible.
Yeah.
So
Right.
far, no caveat.
Or like you read it and then you go like, if it's good, you're like, oh well, that's because they're shitty. They don't.
Yeah,
realize.
it must have been written by AI. Clearly,
Yeah,
the standards of the times have dropped so far.
yeah,
That's the immediate way that your brain
yeah.
processes these things.
Either you suck or the thing that likes you sucks.
I loved what you wrote about your word being impeccable, and I feel
Mhm.
like that's a great goal for 2026. Although I feel like I've never achieved impeccability with my word.
I mean, what does that even? So this is what I wrote about this morning from the book, The Four Agreements, which I can't find right now. But what does that mean to you? Because I still don't think I fully understand what that actually means.
Well, reading your essay, I kind of got it in a different way. Also, is this what people want to hear us talk about? I have no idea. I could talk to you about anything, but reading your essay, I kind of thought about impeccable word as a different thing. I haven't read the book, so I would have
Yeah.
told you that impeccable word is like keeping your word and like being like precise in your language, which I think I'm not very good at, and also like most comedy people aren't very good at because we like to make a story more interesting. So it's kind of like,
Right.
yeah, there weren't actually 10 geese there. It was
Right.
just one loud goose, but it's funnier to say like 10 geese were all honking as loud as they could. And so people, especially in my family, always have a like, didn't really, the phrase they always say is, didn't happen quite that way. Is the
Really?
like, Chris told the story, and then they're like, okay, but like, take it with a grain of salt, you know? Oh my God, it was $100 fee. It was probably a $5 fee, and he just was upset about it, something like that.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
So I would have said that was being impeccable. But I like it that impeccable with your word is instead being like, uh, like a honoring yourself, like speaking
Right.
in a way that is like worthy of yourself and not talking down about yourself, which I have in our short live already not been impeccable in that way either.
I mean, it's really hard to be impeccable with your word in either way, but particularly in that way. Like,
Yeah.
I find that to be nearly, I don't know. It's hard for me to even really grasp it as a concept, which is like, yeah, just to always be good and to myself or love my like that.
Well, I
Even
think
I'm
that
doing
also,
it now, like even now, I'm like, just my default is so deeply to, yeah, kind of neg myself,
yeah.
in the comedy parlance.
Sure, and, I've said this to you, when we have hung out just individually, not when there's, like, an audience of people watching us talk, but, something that I think you're so good at and that I really admire is being really honest and funny in your work and doing it in a way that, like, you capture something that is hard to express, and I think part of that for me is related to this, which is that, um it's kinda easy to be like, "Oh, it's so bad to talk negatively about yourself or to be unhappy with where you are." Like, you should always be positive and upbeat.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
one, that's just, like, impossibly unrelatable. But this is, like,
mhm,
classic time of the year where people are like, "New year, new you.
mhm.
Always be positive all the time. Never have a negative thought. You're bad if you have a negative thought." So, I like that. I've always loved that you are so, uh, real and not that. But the other part that I think that people don't necessarily acknowledge enough is that, like, part of being an artist or creative is seeing your work and being not fully satisfied with it,
Yeah.
right? That's the way you get better is to look at it and be like, ugh, okay, I can do better than that. And a lot of times it is like being like embarrassed or ashamed of the work you've created so that you're like, I got to get actually good. And very few people get to the place where they're like, I'm actually just good. I bet you that even the people who've made masterpieces think that was kind of like not my best stuff, which is
Right.
why they keep making better and better work. Hopefully that's the goal.
Right, right, right. I mean, this is that, like, Ira Glass, the gap thing, right?
Yeah.
Of, like, there's that gap, between, like, your taste and your work. And his whole thing, though, is that, like, the gap closes, though I'm starting to think, like, maybe it doesn't,
Yeah, well,
you
I'm like,
know?
maybe it closes if you're Ira Glass because you really did make something great. And maybe for me, I'm just like, uh-oh, that gap is, it's the if you what's that Zeno's paradox? If you close
Mhm,
half the
mhm,
distance, you never get
mhm.
that might be my closing the gap. Is I'm like, I'm halfway there.
But I think that this is an idea that I've been, like, trying to figure out is that, like, I think comedy might live in that gap,
Totally.
like, between and what you get, you know?
Well, I do think that that's why. I mean, look, not to shill my book again, but
Please chill, and
well,
it's out very soon, folks. You guys can buy it.
okay. Okay, thank you. You really actually do think you have a career, being like a selling like makeup and baubles on a home shopping network. Well, the thing that I do think is cool about humor and laughter and like why it matters to me and why I've like tried so hard in my career to do it and why, you too, is because it's like you get the benefit of the like toxic positivity of like looking on the bright side, but without the downside, which is like denying the reality, right? Like humor is like,
Yeah.
hey, it's a fucking disaster right now.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you're admitting that, but then when you laugh about it, it releases the tension of it and like lets you
Yes.
get through the day, which is sometimes just
Yes.
like all that you can do. And so I think there's a
Yes.
there's a real piece there of like, yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. And it also cannot be fully overwhelming. That like that is a really powerful piece of humor, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wanna talk I loved the book. I
Oh,
told
thank
you
you
that
so
via
much.
text. I
Yes.
really dug it. I mean, it was so you. It was just so, like, I was like, "Oh, yeah, Chris wrote this."
Thanks.
Like,
I
I
read that
could
as an insult,
feel.
but I recognize that you say it as a compliment.
Oh, no, no, it's an insult. It's a
Okay,
huge,
good, good,
yeah,
good.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I
just
was
want to be
like,
clear.
"Wow,
It's
this is."
so clear that you wrote this.
The thing that's annoying is you have the book over there because I was gonna do a bit here that was gonna be, I'm just gonna do the bit anyways.
Okay, but let's do the bit.
Just real fast. So, Chris, your book, Humor Me. I'm just going to read the synopsis here. A love letter to the New York City stand-up scene, as told by charmingly jaded assistant at a late-night talk show for fans of romantic comedy. That's the Humor Me from 20, I don't know when, but it came out. It's a rom-com book. Do you know about this?
I did
Surely you
not,
know
but there's
about
a
this.
lot of what I have learned is that a lot of people talking about how I'm a marketing professional. And one of the things that people don't like realize about marketing is what you want is for the title of the thing that you're trying to sell to kind of be like very difficult to find when you Google. You want it to be kind
Right,
of confusingly like linked to
right,
many other different things. So
right, right, right,
and
right,
if you
right.
could make your own name, Chris Duffy, also kind of linked to like many other people who do like vaguely similar things, that really helps with the marketing. Like
Yeah,
what you want is
yeah,
for
that's
both the title of your
SEO.
book and you to both, yeah, your SEO should be the lower the score, the better, kind of similar to golf. That's how I
Right.
work. Mhm.
Because then once somebody finds you, they're very excited because it took a lot of work and it was difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will tell you something related to that is like maybe like 2 months ago or something. Robert Smigel, who made like incredible, like Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, worked
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Saturday
yeah,
Night
yeah,
Live,
yeah.
worked on. He just started a podcast that's called Humor Me. So
Oh my
that's the
god.
dream. That's the dream. That like someone starts something with the exact same title as your book, who is like vastly more famous and recognizable than you will ever be.
You gotta sue him, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, I will say one thing that is delightful for me about living in this slightly unfindable niche with the cover of my book is that a lot of friends have been sending me, like, if you look at it on websites like
Mhm,
Amazon or Barnes and Noble, like
mhm,
what it says the related books are. And
mhm.
I think as it's gotten a little bit like, it's gotten a little bit of press and like some reviews. So it's kind of becoming the algorithm is seeing it a little more legitimate. But at first, it was the first thing that Amazon said was like, if you like this, you'll like this. And it was replacement parts for your toilet. And then, my friend Alex, a different Alex sent me a screenshot that said like, because you bought Humor Me, you might also like this. And it was How Jesus Can Heal Your Horny, a book about using prayer to fight against lust and masturbation. And I was like, well,
I
you need
was
that
gonna
book more than
say
you need
that.
my book. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what I wanted mostly to talk to you about. Um,
Absolutely. And I am here really mostly to promote how Jesus can heal the horny rather than mine.
we were just on a walk with the fam, and there
Uh-huh.
was a car, and it had like a very tiny, tiny little bumper sticker, like not on the on the windshield, and it
Mhm.
was Jesus, and it was like at a weird angle, and it just said, "I saw that," and I thought that was so
That's great.
good.
That's a great sense of humor right there. I love that.
That was really good, like, because I had just been thinking something kinda shitty about my son, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh my god."
He saw that.
I mean, it's perfect. It was
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, wait, so I have things I wanna talk about with
Okay,
your
great.
book,
And also, if
which
people
is
have
out now.
questions, I will absolutely
Yeah,
discuss.
yeah,
Um,
people, if anybody has questions about comedy, humor, how to be
or
more or
or I would
anything.
also love something that I'm doing that's
Yeah.
inspired by working on this book is I'm kind of compiling like a list of things that will make me laugh even when I'm having a rough day. And so if you have something that like guaranteed always makes you laugh, I'll
Yes.
love that. For me, one of them is a YouTube video of an Australian reporter getting really terrified by a chicken that he's holding in a segment. And I
Mm.
could put that in the chat. I think I could put links in the chat, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can put links in the chat.
Okay, I'm going to
I'm
put
trying to
it's
think of what that is for me. Um,
Oh yeah. And you don't you have like a classic, like a humor piece or a video or something that always makes you laugh that you can look at?
um, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. So I have the two come to mind. One is just that lady stomping on grapes, like one
Oh,
of
a
the most
classic.
epic. I
Yeah,
mean, that
that's a classic.
sound
It's
of
horrible.
her,
It's really rough.
it's deep. It's so deeply in my soul.
Uh-huh.
That sound. And then the other one is Broom Shakalaka on
Uh-huh.
Adult Swim. Have you
Yep.
seen that?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean
That's great.
it's perfect. And
Or another one that I was thinking about just recently too, because some friends from college resent it around is have you ever read the McSweeney's piece that's email addresses that would be very hard to give out over the email? No, email addresses that would be very hard to give out over the phone. And it's so funny. It's just 5 email
Mm.
addresses that if you say out loud, you can't do. So it's like A, that's 5 A's. at yahoo.com, but it's actually 6 A's. I just think like that is there's so many really incredible, hilarious ones on that list. It's incredible. A great
That's
mix of
good.
recipes. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yep.
Okay.
Justin, our mutual friend, or at least my
Justin.
friend who also knows you,
I
is
know Justin.
okay, great. Mutual friend then.
Mutual friend.
Justin is quoting it. Stop. I can't breathe.
Can't
Yep, that
breathe.
is a direct quote from the wine stopping video.
And yeah, just the it's so like guttural, like
Yeah.
that.
Also, just a side note on that. Is that really how they still make wine? We got people stomping their bare feet on the grapes? That's kind of incredible.
I recommend looking up Celebrity Bake Off.
Oh, okay. All right. I've watched some Celebrity Bake Off and I really enjoyed it. The one where they get the people from Dairy Girls. Oh God, that's a masterpiece.
It's hard for me to laugh. I'll be honest with you.
Because you're a very funny person.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I was going to say
but you don't laugh a lot. A lot of comedy people are, the bar is higher.
I don't know if it's the bar. I mean, maybe that's it. I remember as a kid being really proud of how little I laughed.
Oh, really? Oh, I was the exact opposite. Like, I was like, let's see if we can make let me take a drink and see if it will come out my nose. And it was like, it always does.
And then that would make you laugh?
No, like, I'd be like, you say something funny and I'll take a drink. And then
I see.
I would spit it out my nose because it was like, that was like,
I guess
I'm
more thinking of like TV. Like I remember I would watch TV and be like, nothing makes me, none of this is like, and I think this is like something kind of not broken in me, but it's something where like, I think the most interesting part of your book to me that like actually, because a lot of it I was like, oh yeah, I know this or I understand this, you know, but the thing that like genuinely kind of blew my mind was your thing about that people who have a good sense of humor are often not the people who are laughing.
Yeah.
Well,
this is my big like reason why I wanted to write the book is because I think actually people have this really misguided understanding of what it means to have a good sense of humor or to be funny. Where they think it's about like you're the person in the center of a circle of people and you're telling the story and everyone's paying attention to you and then everyone laughs at your punchline. Certainly like that it's not that person isn't funny, but like that sense of humor is so much less interesting to me. And I feel like it's so much less important than the people who in their day-to-day life are laughing a lot. They're experiencing laughter and they're having this like connection with other people over goofiness and silliness and lightness. And I think the thing is like, if you're an introvert, like you can have that without ever being the center of attention, right? Like you can walk through the world and see things and make yourself laugh and connect with other people without being in the spotlight. And I think actually that like the thing that we have as a society right now is like way too much value placed on being the person who is like the center of attention and way too little on the person who is supporting and in it and having a good time and making sure that people are having fun. So one example of this that I think you probably will remember is the sociologists did a study where they looked at dating apps and they found that across the world, like everywhere who uses dating apps, one of the single highest things that people said they were looking for in a partner is someone who has a good sense of humor. And then when they dug down a little deeper into that, they said, well, what does that mean? Have a good sense of humor. And heterosexual women, when they asked, what does that mean? Heterosexual women said, it means someone who I can laugh with. And heterosexual men tended to say, it means someone who laughs at my jokes. And I think that like that is wrong. I actually think that's a mistake about what having a good sense of humor is. Like you want to be in a situation where you are laughing more, whether it is you or the other person creating it. That's better for your life than the other one. Yeah. Like Justin said, I don't have to be the life of the party because I'm just grateful when I'm invited to the party. Like, yes, totally. And so that's my big thing that I'm looking for is not for you to be a professional comedian. Great if you are, but we don't necessarily need more professional comedians. We do desperately need more people who are willing to laugh at themselves and have joy and celebrate the weirdness and imperfections of the world. And I also think with your thing, the last part of my monologue here is just that the fact that you didn't laugh a lot when you were watching like TV or movies, that doesn't strike me as unusual because the power of humor is like the in-person directness, right? Like
Mm,
why laughter is so amazing is because when you and another person are laughing so hard that you're crying, like you are so in that moment locked in with the other person. You're not
mhm,
like half there,
mhm,
half on your phone. And
mhm.
the more that we can have that, the better.
And what do you think, why do you think people close themselves off to that? Like
To laughter, a lot of people think it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
immature. Like kids, it's so rare to see a kid who isn't like silly and goofy and laugh.
totally.
And then I think as we get adults, we get to be adults, we start to think like we have to be serious. And part of that comes from this idea that like if we are serious, people will like us and respect us more. And
Yeah.
it's actually like totally misguided, right? Like another one of the things that I was really struck by is there's a psychological experiment that they did where they had people evaluate job candidates.
Mhm,
And
mhm. Yeah, this was cool.
the people who, so there's these research assistants, they didn't know that they were research assistants, but they came in and people would rate them for how much do you think this person is competent and would you hire them for a job? And the people who got rated the single highest were the ones who, right before they had come in, had accidentally poured a whole cup of coffee on themselves and came in and were like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just dumped coffee all over myself."
Mhm.
So they were like good at the job. They did the like technical parts well, but they also were a little bit of a mess. And everyone liked those people and thought they were better and more competent. They liked them more than the people who were competent at the job and hadn't spilled coffee on themselves.
Right,
So like
right.
we think that we'd rather be the person who is like perfect and pristine. And in fact, everyone will like you more and think you're better if you are able to like authentically and genuinely acknowledge how you're not perfect and a little bit of a mess.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is maybe unique to people who are like me who are trying to make this their career in a way, but like I think part of why I maybe don't want to laugh is I don't it means that I'm like admitting that I'm not funny or that I'm not the funniest. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
like I'm giving up the, I don't know.
But again,
Whereas I think
that's coming from comedy, right? That's like that's the comedy version versus the what I would call like the humor version, right? Comedy is like I am the
right,
star, and humor is like we're all laughing and having a good time.
right.
So like
And
you feel that desire to be like, but I'm the funniest person. So if they are making people laugh, then it's not me making them laugh. And I'm trying to say it's not a zero sum. Instead, it's like,
totally.
can you believe we're laughing? Because the alternative is we could be having a horrible time right now.
Totally. No, I mean, and I think when you see people who are like so giving with their laughter, those are the people who are often the funniest and like the best to be around,
Totally.
you know?
I mean, people love a good laugh. Like
Mhm.
a person who is easy and a good laugher, that is a
Mhm.
person who like you want that person around.
Yes. Where do you think cuz I feel like you do both. I feel like cuz one thing that I love about you is how like good you are at sharing other people being funny. Like
Oh
that's your whole
yeah.
newsletter, right? Like that's what's so I don't know, I really admire that about you. And that's
And
what your book is, right? Is like you're you're like, "Hey everybody, look at all these people and how awesome and funny they are," right?
yeah. But I
Um
also like that. I appreciate that. And I try to do that. All right. I want to be I mean, my favorite thing in the world is laughing, right? Like my favorite
yeah.
thing in the world is like talking to really funny people and laughing with them.
Yeah.
And I also definitely have like an ego and want to be funny and popular and cool and all of those things. And so, um, you know, I, I would love to be surrounded by people who are hilarious. And I would also love for people to be like, "Yeah, you're just as hilarious as those people, if not more so, you know?
Right. 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 Yeah. Hmm.
I think it's a balance. I don't think you can kind of like, I'm not like the Buddha sitting under a tree achieving enlightenment. I don't
Right.
think I don't think you'd be like that. But I think the more that let me put it this way. The single best lesson, the single biggest lesson that I've learned in more than a decade of doing comedy professionally is
Yeah.
that um, you don't succeed by being the funniest person all alone.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
every single person who is successful in comedy, like for long term, you can have temporary success. It's because other people who are in your world and your peers think that you are funny and you treat them well and they recommend you for things, right? So it's like by being part of a group, by being part of a scene, that's how you make work as an artist, is you're inspired by other people and they're inspired by you and you collaborate. So I think that I used to think it's like, this is a competition and we got to figure out like the number one spot is going to get the job in comedy. And it's like, well, every job I've ever gotten in comedy, it's not because I like applied from some like listing on like comedyjobs.com. It's because someone emailed someone and said like, who do you think would be good for this? Yeah, exactly. But by being a good human being, that's how you get long-term success and happiness. That's exactly right. Upholding the first.
How has the whole process been of like writing the book, like getting right up to the release? Like how's that been? I'm just curious as your friend.
Yeah.
Because we haven't caught up in a bit.
I think my real honest answer, this is
Charlie Harding in the house.
Hey,
Chris Duffy and Alec.
Hello. Incredible Charlie Harding from the Switched on Pop celebrity. Songwriter Charlie Harding. I will say this. Oh, I want to see this though. In Miami, the directors that get grants and help are all some collective, but it just sounds like forced labor. Yeah. Yes, that's true. I do like how artist collectives tend to also use like kind of like socialist states gone wrong, the same linguistics of them, you know? Like the North Korean artist collective is like either like a bunch of people doing like a creative writing workshop or like a horrific labor camp. Okay, so my answer to how the book has been, I will say this, is that because it's you and because you are the king of like not giving the shiny polished answer of what it's supposed to be, I will say that I have felt that it is like a deeply ironic moment in my life to be like doing interviews and promoting a book called Humor Me about like laughing more, because I have a 4-month-old baby in the house and a toddler. And
I was going to ask.
I am so like sleep deprived and stressed, and I'm certainly in a place where I am finding humor the least in my life. And so a lot of times people are like, hey, you talk in the book about if you keep a little list of things that make you laugh, you can look at that at the end of every night. And I genuinely am like, wow, that's a good idea. I should. People are like, when's the last time you laughed so hard? And I'm like, when like I was exhausted and I thought I was going to go to sleep and then my kid threw up on me and then I was up for another 3 hours cleaning the rug. Like, ha ha ha, that was funny. And it's like, so it's been a hard period of that. But the flip side is, I interviewed a person for like, who was kind of talking about like the Buddhist relationship. I'm not a Buddhist, but he was talking about the Buddhist relationship to humor, and he is a Buddhist teacher. And he was like, there's kind of only 4 possibilities: is you try hard and it works out. You try hard and it doesn't work out. You don't try hard and it works out. You don't try hard and it doesn't work out. And it's like, that's very true. And I think I have so locked into like the only possible way that success can happen is if I like drag it across on my back. And I'm not really able to drag this book on my back the way that I wish I could. And so it's good. It's a good reminder to be like, okay, I don't really have as much control as I think I do. And that's probably, even if I was doing all the things that I wish I was doing ahead of the time, it's probably like 10%, right? Like most of it is like, what is in the news on the day that my book comes out? And like, does one random influencer on Book Talk, like post about the book, is like way bigger impact on whether the book gets read by people than anything I do.
Totally.
But it's hard to remember that. So,
of course. I mean, are you really anxious right now about how it's going to do? Maybe that's an obvious question, but, or like, what's your state of mind? Or is it like you've already kind of won because you wrote a fucking book that's getting published?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I wish that was my state of mind. Okay. That's a great state of mind to be at. When I first started this book process, which was like 2 years ago, maybe 2 plus
I remember
years ago,
we were talking about it.
Yeah. A friend of mine who has written a book, Laurel Braitman, she wrote this great book called What Bravery Looks Like. And she told me, she gave me the advice that was like, you kind of have to decide ahead of time what success is going to look like.
Yeah.
Is success like you get paid to do the book? Is success that it gets read by a lot of people? Is it that it gets on a bestseller list? Is it that it gets good reviews? Is it that you get to do speaking gigs? Like you have to choose like what success is. Is it that like it means a lot to 10 people, and like those 10
Right.
people, it changes their life.
That you
She's
go
like,
on Both Are True Live.
exactly. You
Yeah,
get to do
right here.
a Both Are True live um, on New Year's Day. I, and she was like, you're not getting, like, no one gets all of the forms of success. Right.
Right.
So it's important to choose which ones matter to you and then like stick with that. And I think that's been really good advice, even though I, when you get one, then you're like, but what if
Yeah.
I got all of them
Mhm.
now? What if I got
Mhm.
the others too? So I
What
think,
are yours? What are the ones you haven't gotten yet that you wanna get?
I mean, my honest answer is like, I would love if it was like a bestseller and
Yeah.
people read it and then I got to write more books. Like I would love if next week people were like, when are you going to sell us your next book? Like if
Mhm.
that became like part of my job. And,
Mhm.
uh, but if you'd asked me before I started, I would have said, if I get to have this book come out by a major publisher and I get paid to anything to do this book, I would consider
Mhm.
that a huge success. And that's already
Mhm.
happened. So I'm like,
Yeah.
incredible. Like my book is coming out and people who are not me are involved in it. That's incredible.
Mhm. Mhm.
But now that that's done, the treadmill, you just like ratchet up to the next thing. So now I'm like, if it's a New York Times bestseller, that'll be good. And then if it's a New York Times bestseller, I'm like, but what if it's a #1 New York Times bestseller? But what if
Mhm.
it's this many people on blank? It'll never end. But
Mhm.
so I'm trying. Again, this is the part where it's like, your book is about laughing at yourself and not taking yourself so seriously. And yet, boy, do I take myself so freaking seriously and think like,
I know.
you think you're just a little clown boy? You got to be the most successful little clown boy in the world.
From the outside, it's very cool. All
Thanks.
of it. I'm
I
just
feel the
like,
exact
man,
same way about you. And I know that you once wrote a newsletter about how I told you
about
that. And then you were
yes.
like, you wrote a whole newsletter about like, what the hell is he talking about? I'm not successful. And I was like, I really meant it. It wasn't genuine. It was a
I mean,
genuine thing.
I appreciated that then. I appreciate it now. And it's funny, like, as I was reading this book, a big inner monologue in my head was like, "Oh man, I want to ask Chris, like, well, how do I become good?" or like
Yeah.
some weird thing. And I was like, dude, just like get that out of you. How do I just like make that voice go really far away for a while? That like there's just this like I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I
Of
I don't know
course.
if you yeah, do you have that voice? You do.
Yeah,
Or
and I don't know if this is exactly what you're saying, but I think like a big part of being an artist of any kind, right? And
yeah.
and look,
Yeah.
I think like people who do funny stuff, like you and me, right? We always hesitate to like call ourselves artists because it's like, come on, am I an artist, right?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
Beethoven wrote like a symphony, and like no, you don't talk about like the guy in like 1600 who was like, "Did you know that like the geese fart just like the ducks?" Ha 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 ha. People are like, "Yeah, the
It's a good
geese
bit though.
geese fart guy is not like remembered by history." But but I do think that like any art form, any creative pursuit, a big part of it is like
The
professional
doubt.
jealousy. Is like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
another way of putting that is just like inspiration, right? Like,
Mm.
damn, that person did that, and I wish I could do that, and I want to do stuff like that. I try to I feel that way all the time, and I try to recognize it as like, okay, that is something to drive towards and that I admire rather than like a sign that I am bad.
Mhm.
Like, a
Mhm.
great example is I have a lot of friends who I started comedy with, where we were at the same open mics, and they
Yeah.
are people who I'm like literally drive past a billboard that is like 10 stories tall
Mhm.
of their face.
Mhm.
I've had that happen multiple times in my life. And I have to remind myself that like feeling like I wish I had that is a totally natural feeling, but also
Totally.
it's like a creative fuel to be like, well, you know them enough to know like what they're doing that's different than what you're doing. And a lot of the
Mhm.
answer for me is that I'm like, I'm not willing to do what they're doing. Like part of it is
Mm.
like they might be on the road like 200 days of the year and they don't
Mhm.
have like a partner and children and they don't eat dinner with their family very frequently. And that's
Mhm.
okay. That's their choice.
Mhm.
But for me, I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, you don't get to be like the president and Beyonce and like just a normal person, right? Like
Yeah.
those three are mutually exclusive, and it's
Yeah.
okay that you don't do everything at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although, for all I know, Beyonce will be our president and is just a normal person, so maybe
Mhm.
she could do all of them, but I
Yeah.
can't.
And she eats dinner with her family. I mean,
I
that's
believe that Beyonce
yeah.
does eat dinner with her family, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was a period in LA where I was like, I was like really gonna do the stand-up thing. And then immediately, like after a few open mics, I was like to Lauren, I was like, I just like can't be on the road all year, you know? And she was,
Yeah. That's not a risk. Yeah.
and she was like, dude, you are like nowhere near that.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
that is the really funny thing is that sometimes, especially in LA, people do use like the like
Mhm.
hypothetical version of things that will like almost never happen as like that's why
No, we're
like they're like I stopped auditioning for commercials because I
yeah.
couldn't bear to like be recognized on the street all the time and like not
Yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah.
regular life. And it's like, sir,
Dude, you were
you are not gonna run the risk of being Jennifer Lopez. You don't
right.
you were auditioning for one Affleck commercial. Trust me, you were very far from having your regular life disrupted.
Right, right. Um, man. Okay, the thing I was gonna say earlier that I just want to tell you because it's funny was uh so I was reading your book. I read some of it, the hardcover, which
Okay.
anybody can pre-order right now on
Right.
Amazon.com or anywhere else that they find books. And then I had the
Not
ebook
anywhere
as
else.
no, no, not anywhere
Most
else.
places, but like
If
I don't
yeah,
think it's in every like little free library in your neighborhood.
okay,
Or
not
like
yet.
a cardboard box full of books. It's probably
I
not
could
in
go
there yet.
put it in a little free
Yeah,
library.
pretty soon it will be in all the places that people leave their trash, but right now it's not.
Yeah. So, well, the one place I was reading the digital version on the Kindle thing was in the sauna,
Oh,
and at
very
the Y
nice.
at the YMCA,
Yeah,
and
that book is
that
meant to be read nude. I do want to tell you that.
I wasn't nude. There's a no nude policy. I was in
In the
undies.
sauna.
You have to no nude at the YMCA saunas.
Wow, times
Uh,
have changed.
yeah,
2026, man, a rough year already.
what a rough one.
Okay, yes, keep going.
But it is a community for me. I didn't know many of the guys in there that day, but I usually do. But we're always chatting, yakking it up,
Uh-huh.
and someone was like,
Can you believe we can't be nude in here?
"No,
Somebody's
the
got to
thing,
do something about this.
no, the thing that everybody always talks about 100% of the time, other than this convo, is how it's not hot enough in the
This is
sauna."
not hot enough.
And
That's really
no, there's a thermometer thing, like a little circle one, and everyone's always like, fucking 165. What am I even doing in here? What am I doing in here?
I can sit in the trunk of my car if I wanted
I've
165.
been here for 30 minutes. Nothing is happening 160. Like there are elaborate like things that people do you have to wet a paper towel and put it on the thermometer sensor to trick the thermometer into thinking it's colder so
So
that
it
the
kicks it
sauna
on?
gets
Oh,
yeah.
I
Dude,
love this.
there's a whole world going on of
I
like
can't believe you've never written about this. You
I
gotta
have
write about this.
I want to. I mean, it's like it's a yeah. Anyways, that
Anyway,
day when I got in, someone was like, "Kindle, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then another guy who like this is a little weird in how it was a little too social, but he's like,
yeah.
"What are you reading?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm reading this book, Humor Me, about comedy, and my friend wrote it. It's about to come out." So I promoted you right there in the sauna,
Alex,
and
this
then
is huge for me.
but then this guy was like, "Well, so how does it work?"
I just started the book, man. It's not hot
And I
enough to
really
tell you the truth.
I was like, I kind of like, I was like, I mean, it's, and then before I could even say, before I could even finish, he was like, oh, Tom Segura, he says that he gets really high and then he does stand up. I think that's awesome. And then, and then some other guy was like, they used to drink a lot, like some old guy who was just hadn't said anything. And then it just kind of got going. I didn't really have to explain it because
Yeah.
they
You were like,
they were
actually, this
all
book is kind of less about like performative comedy and more about like bringing like lightness and absurdity into your life. It's like less about like relying on substances and more about like processing the world and being present and
right.
connected. But yeah, no, that's cool. Tom Segura,
They're like,
yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Shut up! It's not hot enough for you to talk like this.
Yeah. And then they were like, no, they did eventually. They were like, so what's it about? Oh, for a while they talked about Charlie Sheen's Charlie Sheen's documentary, P. Diddy documentary. Then it got quiet, and then they were like, so what's it about? And I was like, oh man, it's like you just got to tell the truth or something. So I feel like I did I didn't do it full justice, and I'm a little sorry about that. But
I'll be in Nashville. I'll be in Nashville in person to correct this mistake. I'm going to
just wait at that
one
YMCA.
book stop event is just at the YMCA sauna.
It is an incredible place, dude.
I believe it.
there's like the regulars, there's the old timers who have been there, been going for decades, who have wisdom, a lot of
Yeah.
real estate talk, a lot of
Uh-huh.
talk about like Dr. Andrew Huberman and the like
Uh-huh. Of course.
protocols of how to improve your, you know,
Feels like the kind of guys who are not happy with the temperature of a sauna is
yeah,
that's like a prime Huberman demographic.
yeah. It's awesome though. I've made genuine friends in there.
I believe it.
Like there's guys where I'm like, hey man, like I'll see him. This guy Eric, I'm like, hey, how's your breakup going? Because I know he's going through a breakup. You
Oh,
know, it's
yeah.
like these are real friends.
Yeah.
Um,
You ever see them outside of the sauna or no? Just in there?
sometimes, yeah,
Because I do love when you have a friend that's a very like site specific friend.
specific, yeah.
Where you're like, if you wouldn't
Mm.
like, I have a guy where we interact at the food pantry and like we volunteer, and I'm like,
Mhm.
great guy. And then one time I saw him at the movie theater, and both of us were like, what? It's like seeing your teacher outside of school. We're like, what?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
oh hey, George, hello. Of course you exist outside of 1 hour a week. I didn't realize that though.
Um, have you been have what's been the craziest thing like you've heard from people in response to whether or not they've read the book, but just like as people are starting to talk to you about it,
Hmm.
what's the vibe or what are the interesting things people are saying?
Well, it is kind of interesting to see like what people latch on to, because
Yeah,
I wouldn't like a thing that a lot of people have commented on
yeah.
is like the footnotes are funny. And I'm like, yeah, like that's what I deliberately like was worried it was getting too serious. So I put like a funny footnote on almost every page, like as a way to like kind of like
Mhm,
roast myself. But people are like,
mhm,
I never read the footnotes, and I read one and then was like, actually, these footnotes are great. And I love footnotes. So I didn't realize that people like didn't like footnotes in general, because that's always one of my favorite parts of the book, you know? So that's one thing. And then
I love the
topic wise,
footnotes. I
thank you.
kept thinking this is classic Chris. The
Well,
footnotes were almost always like, if you don't like that, don't worry about it.
yeah. Don't hurt. Please don't judge me. Still be my friend. Well, it's like
Yeah.
I loved the Naked Gun movie. I thought it was so funny, the
The
new
new
Naked
one?
Gun. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but
Oh, it's so good. One of the things
that's
that I,
awesome.
not spoiling anything is just there is truly not 45 seconds in that entire movie that go by without a joke, and that
Mm,
includes the credits. I was
mhm,
so delighted that like in the credits they had joke credits the whole way through. So like you stayed. It wasn't just like here's a little video sequence. It was like some of the text or the audio or something.
mhm, mhm.
So I
Everything is a bit.
everything is a bit.
Yeah,
Everything is a surface for a bit.
exactly. That's right.
Alex
Bam.
Renko, bam, both are true. And I really tried to do that in this book. Like
Mhm,
there's like the forward has jokes and the index has jokes and the thank yous have jokes. And I was like
mhm,
I was really proud of those. Um, but the other thing that people have really latched onto that I think is interesting is I have a part where I'm talking about how you can use humor to um like have better conversations and connect with people if you're like out at a social gathering, which I think
mhm,
is something that like many people have, especially this time of year. People are like at holiday parties or New Year's gatherings, and it's so easy to just have like very boring conversations where it's like,
mhm.
and where do you live? And do you like it? And what do you do? Oh, well, hey, great. Like just the standard combo. So it's cool that a lot of people have really latched onto this um, idea from Adam
Adam.
Mastroianni of
Yeah,
experimental history that I quote
the
in the book,
doorknobs.
the conversational doorknobs. People have
Mhm,
asked a lot about that. So I've gotten to talk about how great Adam is and his idea that in a
love
good
that guy.
conversation, you should like both present and accept ways to take the conversation in new and exciting directions so that you are
Mhm,
not just having the same boring conversation, but also not monologuing. So
mhm.
it's really, really fun. And so like, an example of his is like, if you say, uh, like if you say to someone like, my roommate asked me to be my roommate from college asked me to be the godfather to his dog. Is that a thing? Like that leads to a way more interesting conversation than just saying like, so do you like dogs? Right? Like you
Mhm,
have more to
mhm.
say about it because it's unusual. But the reason I included it in the book is because it also involves taking a little bit of a social risk, right? Like
Right.
it's very safe to just be like, you have any pets? And it's a little bit of a risk to ask something that's a little more out there. But that when you put yourself out there, it pays some big rewards, I think.
Totally. I mean, Adam, I fucking love that guy. And
He's
all
incredible. A great
yeah,
example of how you can like write about anything if you are really funny and charming, and then
yeah,
people will want to read it.
yeah. And he's got I mean, I don't remember I think he just has an essay that's just like 13 tips, or I don't
Huh.
remember but one of them is about kind of being in group conversations, and how like the most powerful thing you can do is like asking questions in
Yep.
a group conversation.
Yep.
And that like blew my mind, of like how that makes you look like the kind of alpha or whatever. I don't know if he uses that language, but just like that makes you, people think that makes you look bad, but it actually makes you look really good when you're like the one that's giving other people space, essentially.
Yeah, people don't like, I think if you just think about this rationally, right? Like, if you meet someone and they're like, I got a six pack and I make $1 million a year and both of my kids are going to Harvard. You're not like, that guy seems cool. I want to
Right.
keep hanging out with him. And if you meet someone and they're like, I found out that they're like the toilet in my house does not drain correctly, and I am panicking. You might
Mhm.
be like, that guy has big problems, but you're probably much more likely to be like, I like the toilet guy more than the perfect Harvard guy, you know?
Right, right. Or even you can just be like, even if that didn't happen with your toilet, you can just be like, "How's your toilet?" You know, like
Well, that might be like, people might be like,
that.
I'm disturbed by toilet man. I think you might
Right,
got to take like one notch down. Maybe
right,
like,
right.
hey, what's your favorite kind of soup? Is like a way more approachable person than the person who's like, what tips do you have for me to maximize productivity? Yeah,
Right, right. Or like, what do you do? Or
totally.
whatever.
Also,
Yeah,
can I tell you a funny
please.
Adam Mastriani story, which I think
Yes.
is okay for me to share publicly? I'll just say this in a way that doesn't involve anyone's names. Is before Adam Mastriani was like known as a writer, he was a researcher. And
Mhm.
one of the things he studied was he did this academic study on what makes conversations end. Like,
Yeah.
why does a conversation end? And does it end when people want it to end
Right.
or not? And a friend of mine who shall remain nameless went on one date with him while he was doing this research. And
Uh-huh.
she really liked him and was
Mhm.
like, I think we're going to keep going on dates. And nothing bad happened. It was just like one date and it didn't go on. But she was like, the guy who does the research on why conversations end ended the conversation with me. Oh, well, I guess that's definitive, you know?
The guy who says we wanna keep talking didn't wanna keep talking.
I know. I think that is like such a perfect, hilarious thing is to be like, the guy who does research on like how you should always go on 7 dates. Only took me on 1 date. But
Hmm.
that isn't what his research says. But anyway, I always
Right.
think about that.
Um, all right, well, we got before we go here, what do you want people to take away from this book? Like if you
Oh,
could give one tip to people
yeah.
besides buy this book right now on Amazon or wherever you get your book.
Well, I honestly feel like I'm preaching to the choir, right? Because like people who are coming to a Substack live for Both Are True already get this, right? But
Yeah.
that like uh you can hold multiple things at once, right? Things can be like funny and sad and overwhelming and also totally manageable. And I think humor is like the way to thread the needle on these things. So I honestly, the big thing that I would say is I I host this podcast for TED called How to Be a Better Human. And I've interviewed like tons and tons of people over 6 years about often in the like self-help improvement space. And
Yeah.
so, people are always like, what's like a big tip? Like, it's like people are kind of desperate for like, if I only
The
find this
answer.
one trick that I've never
Yeah.
thought of. And the conclusion that I've come to is that like the stuff that actually makes a difference in your life is kind of like quite obvious. And it's just like, it's simple, but it's hard, right? Like, it's like you want to be healthier, like get more sleep, drink enough water, like take
Mhm.
care of your body. These are like, it's simple, but it's hard to do. It's hard to execute. And I think the answer for humor is like, if you want to laugh more and you want to have like a 2021 that is 2026 that is filled, if you want to have a 2021 that's filled with laughter, bad news, that's past. If you want to have a 2026 that's filled with laughter, it's like, pay attention to what makes you laugh when
Yeah.
it comes up naturally. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's few and far between, like write that down, take note of it, like ask other people what makes them laugh, like generate a list, whether it's a physical list or a list on your phone or your computer that is things that make you laugh reliably. And then go back to that list and share it with other people and get their version of that list. It's not like some sort of like secret hack of like, if you sleep upside down, you'll,
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
sleep in a hyperbaric chamber that is exactly 168 degrees, you will laugh more. It's just like, pay attention to it and then share it with other people. And that
Yeah.
is, to me, that's the magic of it too, is that it's fun to connect with other people over this. Like I got to
Right.
share the video, which I think a lot of people were here after. So I'm just going to repost this one more time in the chat. This YouTube video of an Australian reporter being scared by a large chicken, that makes me laugh all the time.
I'm
And
gonna Is it
having that,
long? I'm gonna just watch it right now real
I think
fast.
it's truly 13 seconds.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I'm watching it right now. It's so low quality. It's
Okay, right? It's so good. You can't beat that. It's a masterpiece. Oh, I'm so glad you had a genuine laugh. Oh God, I was so worried that you were just going to be like, "Ha ha, good."
the
But yeah, do that.
the part at the end where he goes
When he
like,
runs away like he's
"Ah!"
Frankenstein or a vampire. He runs away with his arms up in the air. It's really good. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, that's what I got. Notice what makes you
Dude,
laugh, share with other people, laugh more.
thank you so much for coming on New Year's Day.
Thank you so much for having me and doing this. And thanks for being a pal all the years on and off Substack.
I thought you were gonna say just being a pal on and off.
Oh, on and off. Yeah, that honestly, we have had off years. Not like we
Yeah.
had falling out, just we didn't see each other as much. So thanks for being a pal on and off, Alex.
Of course, man. I'm really excited for you, and yeah, this is awesome. I'm really happy for you, dude. This is great.
Thanks.
Yeah, congrats.
Okay, now I will admit that this makes me sound like I'm like 80 years old, but because I've never done a Substack Live, I also don't know how to leave a Substack Live. So I may just be here for hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave, and then you just figure it out. No, I'm
Okay.
gonna end it, and it should end.
Okay, great.
All right,
Well,
everybody, go buy Chris's book right now. Thank you.
thank you.
Bye bye.
The seamless end I dreamed of.
Remove. No, I want to just end it. I just want to guess removed. That's not what I wanted.